Being a sponsor does not give you the right to abuse the people that you bring over to UK under your sponsor license. Your employer needs to be reported, because 1, they're exploiting you, 2, they're abusing you, 3, they are not abiding by the rules and regulations stated here by the government of the UK. You are going to end up with nothing, and you're going to end up borrowing money, and they are being subjected to abuse. Why am I saying they are being subjected to? Not supposed to make an individual work more than 14 hours consecutively per given day. It is illegal. The cost of living in the United Kingdom has skyrocketed, and it has been all over news in the past few days that some healthcare workers are going to the extent of skipping meals in order to save money, and some of them are even going to the extent of borrowing money to make ends meet. In addition to that, there are people who are relocating to come to overseas here to come and work as domiciliary care workers, healthcare assistants, support workers, just to mention a few. And there has been an outcry from the people who have come here to UK that they are experiencing modern day slavery because they are undergoing so much torture under the hands of their employers, which I'm going to be talking about in today's video. I'm also going to be talking about some of the things that you need to be mindful of if you are relocating to come and live here in the UK, because some of us, when we go to work, we do not know our rights. Our employers are supposed to abide by the rules, and some of us, we do not know the rules and regulations that govern our employers. So this is what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. If you are new to my channel, my name is Pauline Popomoyo, and in this channel we keep things real. Without wasting any of your time, let's get into it.
I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Acting stupid, what's happening? What's happening? I'm a savage.
So guys, the cost of living here in the UK has skyrocketed, and it is now very difficult to make ends meet. We are now basically living from hand to mouth. When I initially came here to UK, things used to be very cheap and affordable, but now personally I'm finding it more and more difficult to make ends meet here in UK. The cost of living has changed. Everything is expensive. Fuel is expensive, gas has gone up, the groceries have gone up. Everything has basically gone up except for one thing. The only thing which has not gone up is our salaries. Everything else has gone up, but the salaries still remain the same, which is not benefiting most of us. When I get my salary is just like it disappears like water, because things have become so expensive in UK. I was just complaining to myself when I bought some of the things in a coffee shop. They used to cost me just £3, and this is me complaining to myself in the car. Can someone tell me how just these 3 little things cost £6.50? £6.50, honestly. Is this how the cost of living has become in UK? This is so expensive. Just tea, a pie, and some donuts, almost £10. Because to me, £6.50 is £10. Yay! So guys, most of the things here in UK, some of them have doubled in price, some of them have increased in prices. Simple things like a bag for life. This is a bag for life from Tesco. I used to buy it for just 10p last year, but now I'm buying it for a good 30p to 35p. And 35p used to buy me a loaf of bread, but for me to be able to buy a loaf of bread right now, I have to fork out £1.50. So things are not easy here in the UK. This is what has been circulating in the newspapers, and I will tell you what to do after reading this. So this research was done by Unison, which is one of the UK's largest trade union. They state that the cost of living crisis has decimated household incomes. Low-paid workers have nothing left to cut from their budgets. They are now forced to take drastic measures which could damage their health and leave them deeper in debt. Some may never recover from the financial and emotional hit. Many can't afford to work in public services any longer, which will have a devastating effect on our communities. The government must realize that to protect services and the people who rely on them, staff need to be paid fairly with wages increases in line with or above inflation. So the findings of the research were out of 1,167 health workers who took part, 1 in 3, that is 36%, admitted skipping meals to save money. Overall, a similar proportion are asking friends or family for financial support, while others are using a food bank, 12%, taking out bank or building society loans, or payday loans. The mental toll of the cost of living crisis on low-paid workers has been significant, with 4 in 5, that is 80%, affected by anxiety, 3/4 feeling down, and more than 2/3 having difficulty sleeping. So the cost of living in the UK is basically wreaking havoc in people's lives. So now imagine if it is already this difficult for people who are living in UK, born and bred here in UK. What impact will it have on people who are coming from overseas and have to fend for their families who are back in their countries? Because when you come here to UK, when you work here in UK, you have to support your extended family or your family members from the meager salary that you will get. As you can see, guys, this is according to a research which was conducted. People are finding it very difficult to make ends meet. In my opinion, from what I'm seeing in the newspapers, the UK is complaining of a critical shortage of staff and they need staff. But if they are complaining of a critical shortage of staff and they are not paying their staff well to the point where some staff want to leave, then what is the point of recruiting more and more people and still pay them meager salaries? At the end of the day, you add people to the system and more people leave the system. In my opinion, the people's salaries need to be raised because everything has gone up. So the salaries also need to go up to match the cost of living or to match the inflation rate, or be at least above the inflation rate, so that people are motivated to go to work. Because I personally wouldn't be motivated to be working on an empty stomach because I'm trying to save, and there's nothing motivating or nice about borrowing money so that you make ends meet, or borrowing money so that you're able to commit to work to go and save people's lives. So the government needs to give us some extra cash to avoid a situation whereby when you come here to UK, you struggle, you end up living from hand to mouth, or you end up having to borrow money, and at the end of the day, you are thinking you are going for greener pastures, and when you come here, it's not even green. So guys, when you are coming to work here in the UK, be very mindful of the place that you choose to go and work in. I've said this many times and I'll still emphasize it today. If you choose to go and work in a hospital like the NHS, as you can see, the NHS staff are complaining that they can't even afford a decent meal at work. So you don't want a situation whereby you can't even afford a decent meal at work. Then you choose, I've got nothing against London, but London is expensive. Then you choose to go and work in a place like London. At the end of the day, you can't even afford to buy a meal at work. You won't even be able to pay your rent and pay your bills. You are basically going to be borrowing money day in and day out, because this is what is happening with some of the NHS staff, and this is not according to me, but according to the research which has been conducted. So be very, very mindful of where you are choosing to go and work. And then now we've got an issue of domiciliary care workers coming to work here in the UK, and they're being subjected to abuse. Why am I saying they're subjected to abuse? This is what is happening to them. And before I dive into what is happening to the domiciliary carers here, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. So guys, when people come here to work as domiciliary care workers, I've had quite a number of people phoning me, some of them actually phoning me in tears. Popo, I have not been off for the past 21 days. Ever since I came here to UK, I've been working on consecutive days with no rest. That's the number one complaint. 2, they are paying back an arm and a leg. You know, they come here, they tell them you're going to be working, this is what we're going to be taking from your salary, and they are basically taking an arm and a leg from their salaries, such that they are left with maybe just £300. And to make matters worse, when they are left with that £300 or £600 or whatever from their salary, there are certain institutions or there are certain organizations where they are located in remote areas, and them being located in remote areas, they're expecting people to commute to the remote areas, and they're making them start work as early as 5 a.m. You have to leave home at 5 a.m. because they start work at 5:45 a.m. And when they start work at 5:45 a.m., they start work at 5:45 a.m. And at 5 a.m., there are no buses at that particular point in time. And if there are no buses, the employers are actually expecting these individuals to be paying the tax to and from work. So if you've already paid the employer what you owe the employer, and you've been paid £600, and you are expected to be taking a taxi to and from work on a daily basis, what are you going to end up with at the end of the month? You are going to end up with nothing, and you're going to end up borrowing money. And to make matters worse, these individuals, they leave their home at 5 a.m. and they are only back at 11 p.m. on a daily basis for 7 consecutive days, 8 consecutive days, 21 consecutive days. And they're not even given a rota to say, okay, you're going to be working here today, or this is the duty that you're going. They are just, tomorrow you're working, the day after tomorrow you're working. Or when you're knocking off at 11 p.m. at night, you're told, oh, tomorrow you're working, or tomorrow you're off, which is illegal. And not only is that illegal, if you are making an individual work from 5:45, that's 5:45, up to 10 p.m., how many hours is that? That is way above 12 hours per given day. And according to the law, you are not supposed to make an individual work more than 14 hours consecutively per given day. It is illegal. On top of that, these individuals are expected to report again in the morning at 5:45 for duty. How many hours is it? Let's say you arrive home at 11 and you're expected to be at work at 5:45. How many hours do you have between 11 and 5:45? And are you going to be able to get adequate sleep? And are you going to be able to function as a proper individual at work? Are you going to give the residents or the people that you're going to be caring for a good care? No, you're not, because you're tired. And according to the law here in the UK, an individual is permitted to work for 12 hours, but you should have at least 11 consecutive hours of rest in between before your next shift. So if an individual is making people work from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night and expecting them to be back at work in the morning, how many hours of rest do they have in between? And if this individual is not giving people time to rest in between, is that not modern day slavery? That is, according to me, that is modern day slavery. And if you are an individual who is being subjected to that, because I've heard many individuals phoning me complaining of such things, your employer needs to be reported. And I'll repeat that, your employer needs to be reported, because 1, they're exploiting you, 2, they're abusing you, 3, they are not abiding by the rules and regulations stated here by the government of the UK. And it has also been brought to my attention that most of these employers, if you try and complain to say, I need a day off, I am tired, they say you are complaining a lot. Remember, I gave you a certificate of sponsorship and I'm your sponsor. Okay, remember, I gave you a certificate of sponsorship and I'm your sponsor. I can revoke that sponsor. I'll report you to the Home Office. I'll create lies against you to the Home Office, and that sponsor will be taken away from you. Guys, do not be subjected to abuse because of such threats, because people have come to me and told me that I've complained to my employer that he's not giving me time off, and they said I'm a problem, he's going to withdraw my certificate of sponsorship. Your employer needs to be reported. Your employer needs to be reported, because they are basically holding you at ransom and they are abusing you, not giving you enough time to rest, not giving you enough salary, and making you pay for a taxi every morning, every evening. Because if you're leaving at 5 a.m., you're forced to take a taxi because there's no transport. If you're leaving after 10 p.m., you're forced to take a taxi because there's no transport. Who can afford to take a taxi on a daily basis? And how are you going to be supporting your family back wherever they are? It's very difficult. So if your employers are subjecting you, I know that your employers are subjecting you to that kind of abuse, and they need to be reported and have that license revoked, because being a sponsor does not give you the right to abuse the people that you bring over to UK under your sponsor license. Smash that like button if you agree with me, and don't forget to subscribe. So guys, when you come here to UK, if you're working here in UK, your employer has to abide by what is written in your contract. If your contract says you are supposed to work for 48 hours, let it be 48 hours. Besides, the United Kingdom only allows you to work for 48 hours per given week, including overtime. And if you are to work more than 48 hours per given week, you are supposed to sign out of the 48 hours to say, I can work an additional 1 day, I can work an additional 2 days. And it is not for the employer to force you to work more than 4 days or more than 5 days per given week. And if you are contracted 48 hours per week and the employer decides to make you work just 1 day a week, 1 day a week, 1 day a week, because I know people who've been told that you are problematic, we won't be calling you to work, you work 1 day a week. You are on a contract. Even if they make you work 1 day a week, they have to pay you for the remaining number of hours, whether it's 39 hours that they did not pay you, that you did not work. They're supposed to pay you because your contract says you are contracted 48 hours. And if they fail to give you the 48 hours that you wrote down in black and white, they have to pay you for the remaining hours. I don't know whether you understand me, guys, but UK has got a working time directive which the employers are supposed to adhere to, and they don't have to force you to work more than you want. It's your own choice to decide whether you want to work more. It's not the employer's choice to give you more shifts when you don't want to have more shifts. And for you guys who've been coming to me complaining that you've been made to work 7 days, 10 days, 15, 21 days in a row, you need to do something about that. Do not fear the threats from the employer, because they're not supposed to threaten you. You have to work in a safe and secure environment, because what we have to be mindful of is that you are going to be taking care of people. And when you're taking care of people, you don't need to be tired. When you're taking care of individuals, you don't need to be fat. You need to be in good health for you to be able to take care of another individual. If you're not in good health, if you're stressed, like you saw that they talked of stress is another issue associated with working. If you are stressed, if you're frustrated, if you are thinking about where am I going to get the next money for transport and all that, are you going to be able to perform your duties up to scratch? You won't be able to perform your duties up to scratch because mentally you are not up to scratch. Understand, guys? And for the employers who are employing people from overseas and then subjecting them to modern day slavery here in UK, be careful, because your days might be numbered. You don't want to end up having your license revoked because you are not treating humans as humans. Remember, it is not easy for someone to come from overseas, leave their family, leave their lifestyle and everything, then come here to UK to be abused by you, the employer. It's not an easy thing to leave your family and then you come here and you're subjected to abuse. So let us not abuse the people that we're hiring from overseas, and let us learn to abide by the rules and regulations as stated by the UK government. I would go on and on and on, but I don't want to make my video too long. But this is the situation on the ground, and this is all that I wanted to share with you guys. Remember, you should know your rights, stand for your rights, speak, complain, report when you are not happy at work. If nothing's done about your complaints at work, take them further. And one most important thing, always join a union. Always join a union, because they are the very people who are going to represent you when you're now presenting your cases, and they are the very people that you can actually take your cases to so that they solve these problems for you. This is all that I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and if you've got any questions, comment down below, and don't forget to smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you in my next video. Bye.